Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to the Wednesday AMA. It's 2 or 3 minutes here until the top of the hour, and we'll be getting started right then and there. If you guys can hear me all loud and clear in the chat, do me a favor, let me know. You guys should also see on the screen my desktop background, little Digital Triggers logo, and a saying there. It says, every day is another chance to get stronger, to eat better, to live healthier, and to be the best version of you. You guys can see that and you guys can hear me. Let me know in the chat. That'd be great. And if you guys would let me know where you're calling in from today as well, that'd be cool. Get a little interaction going in here in the chat. Make me feel like I'm not alone. That's always nice. And we'll get started promptly here in another 2 or 3 minutes. Welcome everybody officially to yet another AMA session. It's my pleasure to have you guys today. It's Joe Troy here from Digital Triggers. Thanks so much, John, for the question in the chat. Let's see if we can't get that added to today's curriculum. If you guys have a question you want me to answer today, would love to answer that for you in the chat. Just let me know. I pulled a good, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, a good 5 or 6 questions from the AMA forum from you guys that we're going to answer here today. And John Guild just threw me another one in the chat, so we got that. Will get answered. But we'll do last call here real quick while we're waiting on some others to join us. Last call real quick for questions. I'm going to get these added to the slide deck, and then we'll officially get things kicked off for today, all right? So last call for alcohol. Questions in the chat before we get today's webinar started. All right, so let's see here. Layout on this one, I need to use that title case so I don't look like my slides are all chaotic here. So where's that? Capitalization, title case, there we go. John Guild, I got that one in for you, brother. Not a problem at all. Happy to answer that for you, man. Thomas Wilson, are you going to talk about InvisiblePPC? There's a question that kind of talks about InvisiblePPC, Thomas. Is there a specific question, Tom or Thomas, that I could answer for you about InvisiblePPC, though? I'm happy to obviously do that. There's like a specific angle, right, in terms of InvisiblePPC that you'd like me to hit on, right? I'm happy to. I don't know enough to ask a question yet. Okay, so real quick, if I get some feedback from everybody, would it be helpful if I spent 3 or 4 minutes just talking about why I partnered with InvisiblePPC, right? And kind of where I see the future they're going, and just being very blunt, what's in it for you guys. If so, just let me know in the chat, give me a 0. All right, I kind of did that via email already. You guys should have seen that, but if you haven't, you want me to chat about that, I'm very happy, obviously, to have that conversation. Yes, what's in it for me? Matthew said, okay, cool. So let's talk about that. So let's call it InvisiblePPC So I'm going to say InvisiblePPC and what's in it for Digital Triggers customers. That's what we'll call it, all right? And I'll answer that at the end of today's session. It'll be the last topic that we hit today. So, all right, cool. Thanks, Thomas, for that. I appreciate it, brother. Michael says, I understand it, but some help would be good. All right, you can still talk about it. Cool. All right, good stuff. All right, folks, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get today's webinar kicked off. I appreciate your patience today as we get started a couple minutes late, but just wanted to get some feedback from you guys. I always like to give you guys the opportunity, if we have the time, to get in any questions that I may have missed in the form. Try to pack out the agenda for you guys. Let's go ahead and zoom this out. View, zoom, zoom out. So again, all right, everybody, welcome to today's AMA. Without further ado, folks, we're going to jump right in. And today's first question, let's actually zoom this in just a little bit. Today's first question is essentially, guys, I recapped it, advice for a growing window replacement company. So essentially, we got the question here. My brother has a small window installation business, and he sells windows and does the installation. He does amazing work. He takes his time and does high quality work, and he stands behind all the work as well. His price is about 1/3 of that of the big boys. My question is, since he's just starting out and he doesn't have a lot of money up front to pay for ad spend or for marketing, what's the best way to get him like 5 to 10 window jobs so he can come up with a marketing budget out of those profits to start getting busy for the whole summer throughout the fall? So essentially, if he were your brother, what would you do? All right, so first and foremost, what's up, Frankie Allen? Good to see you, brother. First and foremost, family's tough. I love family. I'd always do whatever I can for family, but family's tough, right? Family doesn't always listen. So just a little quick disclaimer there. Family is tough, but I would obviously bend over backwards each and every time for a family member to try to help them. First and foremost, your brother, you said, charges about 1/3 of what the big boys charge. Okay, so first and foremost, double your prices. Right there's your advertising budget, right? Double your prices. So my father's company has a window company, a roofing company, and they've started over the last really 2 or 3 years to expand. They're now doing decks and they're doing siding. They're starting to do more and more. But over the last 2 years, really last year and a half, like their business has just like freaking taken off. The revenue hasn't 10x, but I'm talking probably 150% increase in revenue in a year and a half from a local, brick and mortar type of local business is a big freaking deal, right? And they're not a brand new business either. They've been out there, they've been established. And one of the big aha moments that my father and everybody else there just couldn't believe is they just recently raised their prices at the beginning of this year. And they raised their prices, I think, by like 20%. And he said that there's been quite literally zero pushback on the raised prices. Okay, so they were all like extremely scared. Him and every other sales guy, right, were like extremely worried that the increase in price was going to crush them and have this huge detrimental effect on sales for the company, right? And it didn't even touch them. So I know that this can be kind of a head game in terms of pricing, but the fact of the matter is your brother is undercharging like a mother, and if he wants to grow a real business, he needs to double his prices to start. Okay, so just by doubling his prices, he's going to get an advertising budget. Okay, and it might be small, right, to start. I understand he's growing a business, but the first thing that he should be doing is remarketing and retargeting. Okay, it's the same thing, folks. Okay, it's just called different things depending on the platform, right? So a visitor comes to your website, they convert or they don't convert, your choice and kind of how you set things up, right? They turn into a lead, they turn into a buyer, they don't. You just advertise to everybody. And you stay in front of them, showing them ads all across the internet, right? Essentially, guys, this is one of the biggest things that I am in right now, one of the biggest things that I am pushing right now. And the fact of the matter is simple, right? 70% of people that see a remarketing ad for you are going to end up choosing your business versus a competitor's, right? You can't really mess with that, right? Remarketing and retargeting is the only thing that makes every other advertising more effective. Right, the only thing out there. So as far as I'm concerned, the first thing that you should be doing in terms of advertising is ensuring that you make every advertising as effective as possible, right? So the way that I would do that is with remarketing and retargeting. Next up, what I would focus on is some very hyper local type of campaigns. Okay, and by that, I would be doing like YouTube, Google Display Network, even some third-party traffic sources potentially, like Traffic Fuel. And I'd be getting really targeted. So I'd be putting my demographic in there. So you should know exactly who your customers' buyers are, right? They're homeowners, right? They probably not single income families, right? They have the money to be able to do a renovation. They probably, are, between 35 and 55, I would guess, right? And I'm sure that there's a couple more characteristics that you could lay out that would really dial in your target market. And then you know that they live in, one of these handful of zip codes that you're going to be servicing, right? And you can quite literally dial in your marketing that well. And then I would just combine that hyper local campaign, right, with a really good offer. Okay. If you're in, so really good offer. If you're in a hot area or you're in a freezing area, let's say, that's great. And an easy way to make an offer in the window replacement market, right, is like your energy efficiency, right? So you can come in and do an energy efficiency audit and tell them how bad their windows suck and how much money they could be saving if they just got their windows updated, right? The air wouldn't be so lofty in their place, right? It would feel better. The air, would be more evenly distributed throughout the entire house. And oh yeah, by the way, we also this month are running 0% financing, right? Like that's an easy pitch. If you live then in South Florida, for example, you have like the hurricane / impact glass kind of market as well. All right. And when you're in the impact glass kind of market, there's a huge difference in price point. We pay a lot more for replacement windows and doors. Okay, so those are just some ideas on the offer. Once that's settled in, it's working, you want some more, then I would focus on mobile search next. The reason I would focus on mobile search, and I go after Google, and I go after Bing. The reason is because with mobile, you can almost guarantee that you're going to have like very high conversion rates. You don't have to focus so much on the landing pages and how great they are, right? Like you do, but they're a lot easier to get to convert well than desktop traffic. So I would start with mobile search, and I would definitely do call only campaigns, and I would split test that, right, versus just traditional mobile campaigns. And what you're going to find is that your CPA for mobile is typically going to be a lot less than desktop, okay, or considerably less without a lot of work, right? Like you can have a very basic mobile website with a big call to action to click to call, right, or tap to call, and you show a review or two and show that you're a reputable company, and that's basically all that you got to do. Okay, so I would definitely focus on mobile search next. And then me, guys, I'm a direct response marketer, but I'm also a search engine marketer, right? So the majority of my skills and my experience and where I've driven the most amount of revenue from people is from the search engines, right? Not from like display ads. By all means, running pay-per-click advertising, but through Google. And so just for me, naturally, what would come next is running desktop traffic, right? Running desktop search. Again, we'd focus on the major search engines, which in this case is going to be Google and Bing, really, at the end of the day. And so this would be kind of my, I don't know, what is that? I guess we got to back these out. My 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-step process to kind of ramp up my brother or my family member if they were kind of in the shoes or in the circumstance that you gave for the window replacement company. Okay. Douglas says Facebook ads too. So Douglas, like I would run Facebook remarketing and Facebook retargeting. My issue with Facebook is you got to interrupt people, right? And you got to get their attention, and you got to get the attention of somebody that's not your customer yet. When you go with Google search, you're just raising your hand when somebody says, I need somebody that does window replacement. You're just like, yeah, I do that. I can help you, right? Like it's a completely different skill set, right? And it takes obviously a very different landing page and customer experience to take that prospect from ice cold on Facebook and actually get them through the door and turn them into a buyer on the other side. Am I saying that it's impossible? No. Douglas, just being 100% frank with you, like that's not my skill set. Is it possible? Yes, but I'd rather focus on kind of the low-hanging fruit first, and I believe that this order is that low-hanging fruit, right? It's also why I don't run like what they would call an SMMA, right? A social media marketing agency, and run Facebook ads for local businesses. I'm all about getting business right now, right? Not waiting, not I got you a lead, but good luck converting that lead. No, I'm gonna get you a lead, I'm gonna get you a phone call, and I'm gonna get a butt in the seat if you're a dentist, right? I'm gonna get you out to that local business because they actually picked up the phone and called, and they want your service now, right? Like that's what I focus on, Douglas. So I hope that makes sense for you. All right, so next up, second question here is how do I remove a store from my customer's website and not tank the SEO? So this question comes from Mike G. So he says, basically, I have a restaurant/bar client who has a store, right, as part of their website, selling t-shirts, etc., and they no longer want the store. So questions. One, do I put a 301 redirect on each of the store pages, redirecting them to a new page with a notice about the store closing? If yes, is there a quick way to install a 301 redirect for 100+ pages with all the products, right? Or do I have to do each and every one of them manually? And then question number two, what's the best way to handle this? I still think that's question number two. Question number three, is it okay to remove content from the individual pages, or can I just wipe it all at once, basically? So what's the best way to do this? All right, so I don't know what your exact setup is, Michael, but you can do this through your htaccess file. So you can do this through your htaccess file. What I don't know though is if you're using WordPress. If you're using WordPress, it gets a little easier. You don't have to write so much code. You don't have to be a coder. You may not even need to outsource it. But first and foremost, I'll just put in my disclaimer here, right? I haven't written a 301 redirect in an htaccess file in quite literally years. I'm going to show you a way that you can do it, but you need to test it yourself and make sure that it works for your situation, considering, again, I haven't written regular expression code or anything in terms of an htaccess file in a long time, right? So to be frank, honestly, I don't remember how to code it with htaccess. If you're using WordPress though, you could use a plugin like Yoast or Redirection. And if you're using Yoast has a little tab inside of it that will help you do redirects. But then there's also a tab within there that you can write what they call regular expression. And from there, you can make it kind of dynamic. So if your store is sitting at, domain.com/store, right? And then all the products are /store, /category, /name, right? And they're kind of that URL structure. You can dynamically, with regular expression, you can write one redirect and it will redirect each and every one of the URLs, all right? So Michael's on and Michael has Yoast. All right, fantastic, brother. So please, do your due diligence, okay? Back up the website first. Make sure that you test this. You don't just set it and forget it and walk away and not test this. Back up your website as always before you do anything risky. But I'll show you how I would do this inside of Yoast. I'll actually open the Digital Triggers blog and give you a quick little run through of how this works. So I'm inside of Yoast. Let me get this up on the screen. All right. So I'm inside of the Yoast plugin, and then down at the bottom, you just go to redirects, and it'll take you right here, right? So then from here, we're gonna go to regex redirects. So again, test this. This is my disclaimer. I'm not saying it'll work outside the box. Like it should, okay? It should work, but you're gonna need to test it, obviously. So what you're gonna do here is, let's say that your URL is at /store, and let's say that you want to redirect that to the home page. We're just going to put this in for the home page, right? So then here what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to say, so anything that has /store/ and then this is where you write your little regex part. Basically you say anything that has a letter A through Z or a number 0 through 9. Yeah, let's see, look at that code. Yep, that looks good. Okay, then you're gonna wrap it like this. Boop, boop, boop. Is that right? Let me see. No, so we need the bracket here first. So 1 second, one little edit there. Okay, this, and then I put a question or query here. So this should work in theory. You might want to test it without the question mark, but this would make so that anything /store/ right, would automatically get redirected to the root. So you could change this to something else if you'd want, right? So that will remove anything. Then you just need to do one more redirect just on like the store page, wherever you want to redirect that. So you'd redirect the store to like the home page, for example. So Michael Grubb, that is it, brother. Test it out, but you should be good to go. Might be a little tweaked variation of that, but you got it there, man. Hopefully that helps you out. All right, so next up, next question, Chris asks, do you have any training on how to run Google call only ads? So I do not, to be frank. I believe that in order to run Google call only ads, that you should be good at Google ads. And it shouldn't just be an afterthought. Like, I sold my client, so I guess I should figure this out. And, you know, no problem. I can set and forget this thing and take 15 minutes and set this thing up. Like, could you do that with like some remarketing or retargeting? Yeah. Do you ever want to do that when you're running Google search campaigns? Like, no, I promise you, 99 times out of 100, you will eat it. Okay. So again, like my fundamental belief system is that you need to understand like campaign structure inside of Google Ads and match types and quality score. You need to be very comfortable with ad creation and automated rules and all the different types of bidding types. And then you need to be prepared to like literally strap in, quite literally strap in and monitor those campaigns every day. So somebody just gave a recommendation for call only ads training, and I would run the other way from that ads training. Again, like you need to baby this thing, you need to watch this thing, and that's the difference between you crushing the campaign and you losing the campaign. There's a lot of people in the space that say like, oh yeah, just set it up and let it run and it'll be great. Like I know lots and lots of you guys have lost like a lot of money doing that and trying to follow that kind of methodology. That's not going to work for you. So for those very reasons, guys, like I don't do any fulfillment for Google Ads myself personally, right? And that's one of the many reasons, right, that I let my team at InvisiblePPC.com do it. Okay, so before I was even partners with them, that's how I would recommend if you ask me for somebody to do Google Ads. Okay, I believe that it takes a very specific skill set to be good at running Google Ads. It takes lots of patience, right? It takes being very particular. It's almost like a very long chess match that you're playing each and every day, where you're getting very small incremental wins and you're always testing things. For lots of people, they like playing that game, but for other people like me, I hate playing that game. Okay, so I wouldn't suggest that. Okay, so let somebody, right? Let the pros do it would be my suggestion. Okay, yeah, Frankie says Google call ads are hard, right? Douglas says thanks for the tip. So let somebody that does that for a living do it. And you know that like if they run those campaigns, right, and that's what they do for a living, and the results that you're getting just aren't quite there, right? Know that that's what they do, again, for a living. And just imagine what it would have been like if you would have done it, right? And had to learn everything from scratch. Does that make sense to everybody? Give me a 3 if that makes sense. Like, am I trying to discourage you from doing it and running Google call only ads? No. But if you're going to do it, understand that it's probably going to take you quite a bit of time to learn it and truly master it. okay? And that's what you're gonna need to be successful, is mastery, okay? So it's just something for me that I choose not to do. All right, so next question comes from Angelo, and Angelo asks, what's an easy white hat local SEO strategy to build high quality backlinks? So this is a good question. This is kind of a loaded question too, right? So not only what's a good strategy to build white hat local SEO links, right? But what's an easy? So I got to give you guys the goods on this one. This one took me a little bit, but I'm going to take you guys through the process. And I've been doing this a lot with local SEO, and this works like gangbusters. And frankly, I feel like a lot of SEOs are just lazy on this front, and they're kind of missing the boat when they're doing local SEO. Like they do kind of the norm. They do the press releases, they do the citations, right? They do the social profiles, right? Like they buy some, you know, kind of authoritative gigs for then their social profiles to pump those up, but then they never really do more after that. How many of you guys would consider yourselves guilty of that, right? Then it's like, all right, we'll write some content or do some on page, and that's kind of where you let the SEO kind of sit, right? Yeah. Okay, so at the end of the day, the biggest ranking factor, no matter what Google tells you, still at the end of the day, the biggest ranking factor in Google is backlinks. You know, they want to tell you, and the white hat people want to say that it's all about the content that you write. Well, it's really not if you can't get anybody to the website, right? It's really all about the backlinks, right? Those are the votes, okay? That's what's going to get you guys to rank. So the key in ranking white hat, right, and local SEO, the key to ranking is to build high quality backlinks, right? So the way that I like to do this, after the things that we talked about, right, the money for me and the extra sparkle, right, and the reason that my customers get such great results when it comes to local SEO is because I've mastered a process to build guest posts and sponsored posts at scale. Okay, so what does that mean? That essentially means I'm doing local outreach to bloggers, pitching them almost like a press release, almost locally, right? But pitching them a piece of content for their blog. Okay, that piece of content obviously has a link in it for my customer who I'm doing the SEO for, right? So there's kind of two ways of thumb to kind of go about this. Either you're going to have to do lots of quantity of this to get bloggers saying yes, right? Or you're going to have to write amazing quality to get bloggers saying yes, right? So you're either gonna have to send lots of email and not have to do as much writing, okay? Or you're gonna have to write really amazing content and then you don't have to reach out to so many bloggers to get it published on their site, right? Or thirdly, you can just kind of write okay content and you can simply sponsor the content. And what I mean by that is you say, I wrote this piece of content for your site. I think your readers will really like it, and I'm happy to pay you to publish it on the site. Okay, guys, we do all three of these. This last one, this is what we do the most. This works for me time and time again. And I find that I could do these other things. I've got these other things to work, but I can send a whole lot more emails. I can have way less, I can pay a writer way less money to write this content as well. And I don't have to contact many blogs in order to get them to say yes. So this is kind of the sweet spot for me. Okay, so a real life example. So let's say I had an attorney client that wanted me to do link building for them, right? I would charge them at minimum $2,000 a month for me to run their link building process. I would do some other SEO just to make sure I covered my bases, make sure that I did some basic on page, made sure that there weren't any glaring issues, right? I do some basic off page citations. I make sure that their Google My Business was all built out and optimized and kind of the basics, right? But then I would very quickly get to link building. So by the second month, probably in our arrangement, right, I'm already building links kind of in this local outreach style. Everybody following me so far? Give me a 4 if you're watching live and you're following. All right, good stuff. All right, good. So what I would do then, essentially, is, this is my favorite target. And by target, I mean people to outreach to, people to pitch this to. My favorite target, this is a little secret I don't really let fly too much. My favorite target is mommy blogs. So I'd find mommy blogs in the area. Okay, and it can be the greater area. It doesn't have to be the freaking, town next door. If you live in a city with 10,000 people in it, no problem. Go to the next city. Like, go to the next big city or 2 cities, right? So we'd find mommy blogs in close by. They don't have to be close by even, but close by makes them more relevant, right? And cleaner, easier, white hat link, so to speak. Not easier, but more white hat link. And we'd pitch them, right? We'd give them a piece of content that would fit in with their site. So we'd love what you've been doing, Kelly, with your site, your site here, especially like this one piece of content. It gave us an idea to write this other piece of content, right? It's very similar. We give them a link to go preview the content. We'd love to sponsor this and have you put it up on your site. And if you're interested, we'll pay you $50 to sponsor it. Okay, we'll pay you $20. We'll pay you $30 to sponsor it. Guys, at the end of the day, there aren't that many mommy blogs that are out there crushing it, where the mom, right, that's running the blog has been able to quit her day job, and this is what she does for a full-time living, right? So $20 to $30 to post a blog post, right, where she's adding content that her visitors will like, is a heck of a win-win scenario for that local mommy blogger. Give me a 5 if that makes sense. Using this process, folks, reaching out to mommy blogs, we have quite literally in just the last couple of months, let's say 3-4 months, built over 300, probably getting close to 400 now. It's got to be over 400 now. Root domains, right, from mommy blogs, meaning 300 unique domains by pitching mommy blogs doing the exact thing that I just taught you guys to do here today. Okay, mommy blogs are by far my favorite outlet, all right, my favorite target for me to go after. So the interesting thing here is 300 root domains, right? For those of you guys that are hardcore SEOs, is that a lot? For those of you guys that have looked at really powerful sites that are making 7 figures a year, 7 figures a month with their organic traffic, is that a lot? Frankie says, OMG, yes. So guys, here's the cool thing. Even if you're doing SEO for your clients, if you can build this list of 300 root domains, you guys can then go back to those same mommy blogs, this same 300, and say, hey, Rachel, I got another great idea for a piece of content for you, right? So you guys can reuse that list. So you can reuse the asset that you built, right? So guys, one of my motivations in doing SEO for clients is to be able to do SEO for myself, right? To be able to use this list, to have this asset, to be able to turn back to this and go repitch all of them. I just took 60% of the work out of the process because I'm going back to a list that already said yes. Okay, this is how we do easy white hat local SEO, right? To build high quality backlinks. And I just talked about 300 root domains, folks. That's at scale. This is how you do it. Somebody asks, do PBNs still work? Yeah, private blog networks still work, right? The fact is though, like, are you gonna be proud to show your customers that you bought them PBN links? Probably not, right? Are you gonna be proud to show them these links that you built for them? Yeah. Check this out, Mr. Customer. Just got you on another mommy blog, right? Rachel's singing praises about your practice. Would 100% be excited to share that link. I would not be excited to share a PBN link. And so I'm not saying PBNs are bad. What I don't like is when SEOs that are doing client work, right? Marketers that are doing client work don't teach their customers what a private blog network is, right? They don't talk to them. They don't have a conversation about risk that comes with some more gray or black hat techniques, right? And then they just buy them a bunch of PBN links, right? So then the customer gets excited because you're getting them results, right? But they end up getting smacked by Google because you never really had that conversation with them. And guys, I've been in those situations, right? I'm saying that from experience. So like, I just don't like doing PBNs anymore for my customers because of that. I've had to have some awkward conversations like, Joe, you crushed it for us for 2 years. What the hell happened to our rankings? Sorry guys, I used some private blog networks, right? Like those aren't fun conversations. So I don't use those for my client site, and everything that I do for myself these days, right? I don't build any private blog networks for myself either, because everything that I want to do, I want it to be long-term for me. And that's just a decision that I've made, right? And a decision that you guys have to make for yourself. Kind of what's your pain tolerance, or what's your pain threshold, so to speak, all right? I hope that makes sense. So the next question, speaking of gray hat, black hat, if you were a black hat SEO, what would you be doing right now? Okay, if you were a black hat SEO, what would you be doing right now? So this one does get me excited, don't get me wrong. But I'd have to really have a conversation with myself about kind of this, if I build an empire, right, on sand, it could all crash and I just don't know when, and that's fine. Did a case study on the Digital Triggers blog talking about how we ranked in Miami, right, one of the biggest cities in the United States, for a locksmith, quite literally ranked for Miami locksmith and locksmith Miami. I think the highest we ever got was #2. I don't know that we ever got to #1. We did lead gen with that. We did pay-per-call. We made a lot of money, barely spent any on some PBN posts and a little bit of on-site SEO. But then, right, the site got smacked. Google smacked it and it was gone. Okay, so if you want to do Blackhat, that's fine. Just understand, you kind of got a ticking time bomb, so to speak, that you're dealing with. So if I was really big still into Blackhat SEO, specifically, if I kind of had the background that I have now, what would I be doing right now? So right now, I would be focusing on essentially EMDs, exact match domains. So exact match domains have crushed it in terms of SEO for a long time. So you take the keyword phrase that you want to rank for, right? And you would buy the exact match domain of that. So you'd buy keywordphrase.com. Okay, so this has worked for a very long time in Google. Okay, you could argue it still works today. It's been spammed to death. It doesn't work as good as it used to. You used to be able to buy an EMD domain though, and go up against like Wikipedia and huge sites with just a couple backlinks and outrank them, right? So this worked really well. These days, I don't know that I would really call it an EMD. What I would call it instead is an exact match business name. Okay, so exact match business name. And what I mean by that is maps with Google Maps. So if you guys look at Google Maps right now, it's like the wild, wild west still. If you look at what's ranking, it's a lot of exact match business names, right? So if you look at a keyword phrase, you put in iPhone repair St. Louis, I almost guarantee that iPhone repair St. Louis as a business name is what's going to rank inside of Google Maps. Give me a 7 if that makes sense to everybody. Okay, yeah. um, all over the market. Like just do a dozen Google searches for like local niches in different cities around your area, and you guys will be blown away. I mean, it's rampant. And as much as I think that this balloon is going to pop, right? As much as I think that this is going to go away, like Google is just right around the corner from this happening, guys. This has been going on for a really long time, and frankly, Google just isn't doing shit about it. Like quite literally not doing shit about it. So if I were putting effort right now into Blackhat type of activities, I would be going after this in a major way. So I'd be setting up GMBs with exact match business names. Okay, and I'd not go for like the head term. So if you're going after like appliance repair in Jacksonville, I wouldn't do Jacksonville appliance repair. Like if it was available, maybe I would, I don't know. But I probably do things more like 24-hour Jacksonville appliance repair. Things that chances are the domain's going to be available, the competition's going to be super low, and I'm going to be able to jump into the map pack very quickly. And with that, you're just playing a numbers game. It's like you know, it's like a slot machine. It's like hitting an ATM, right? So I'd be kind of hitting these things in batches, right? So I'd test with 5 or 10 of these. Okay, get them verified, and the ones that pop, right, rank in the top 10, let's say, inside of GMB, I'd put time, effort, and resources into. I'd build citations, I'd build backlinks, right? I'd run with them, and the other ones I would leave, right? I'd cut my losses of the ones that didn't do well, okay? And I've played this game. It's fun. Still have lead gen assets that generate calls that I've set up, and I set up a long time ago that quite literally bring in calls every single day. So you might have $100 in one of these. If you're getting paid out $30, $40, $50 a qualified call, right? Like you need, 1, 2 qualified calls ever for it to pay off, right? It gets ranking and you're in the money, so to speak. So if I was concentrating a bunch of my time these days on Blackhat SEO, I would be playing the local Google My Business essentially spam game, right? With the exact match business names. A long time ago, yeah, Douglas says, or not Douglas, sorry. Frankie says, I purchased 50 Halloween costume EMDs back in 2009 and I killed it, I bet. About that time, probably late 2009, 2010, I jumped into affiliate marketing very strong in the SEO and exact match stuff, and we were crushing it with coupons. So we are going after retailer domain names, like brand names, and coupons, right? So I'd pick up like Omaha steak coupons, right? And I'd rank it like super simple, like a couple of backlinks, like very easy SEO. It would rank really well. I'd rank in the top 5 with very little SEO, and this is kind of the same tactic, right? And when it would pop and when it would rank and it would start getting some traffic, then I would start to actually work on it, right? Then I'd really work on the conversion rate and make sure that the website was really good and easy to use and customer experience, right? But I just keep it very easy. Just get that thing to rank, get it getting traffic first. Once it gets traffic, then we can start to work on the conversion rate. And that was an absolute killer business. Very fun business. So let's see, reporting GMB spam is now a thing for SEOs, but the jury is still out if Google will do anything. Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's just against Google's terms of service, John, right? It's not like it's illegal, right? So you got to draw the line though for you on what you're okay with and what you're not, right? Like that's the difference between white hat and kind of gray hat. I wouldn't even call GMB spam black hat. Like frankly, it's not really black hat. Black hat is like hacking other people's site and maliciously inserting right backlinks, which happens, right? And far crazier things. All right, so next up, how would you compare the importance or priority of SEO versus ads for a local business? So I think that ads, first and foremost, is a kind of deceiving word. Like, what do you mean by ads, right? Are we talking cold traffic ads? Are we talking warm market ads? Are we talking ads to existing customers? Because for me, all of those ads pay off very differently, right? Like if we had a scale and we said like ads to current customers, we have ads to prospects. So they're prospects, but they're not customers yet. Then we got ads to cold market, right? You should be doing these freaking ASAP, right? Because this is just only going to help you get more with your current advertising, right? And the cost is going to be jack, right? This is retargeting, remarketing like we talked about before and like we talked about last week. And everybody and their mother should be doing remarketing and retargeting. You guys know the cost and the value, right, that you get out of it. So the great thing about retargeting and remarketing and these specific types of ad campaigns too, is that these are very fast acting. They're very low cost and fast acting. So like you can get this set up in terms of tracking, you can get this set up and the campaign creatives done and everything set up and running and live in, let's call it a week, right? And these are going to be up and running and producing and getting impressions from your prospects in a week. This is a little bit of a different story, right? Right? Like this ROI is going to be like almost instantaneous. This ROI is going to have to be proven. This is going to take some a little bit to figure out. It's not going to be profitable overnight. Okay? A lot of people, for example, run Google ads. Right? A lot of businesses run Google ads and they run it for a month and their cost to acquire a customer is really high, but they think that in month one, they're going to be profitable, right? Like you got to run that thing longer, right? So that you understand what campaigns are working and which campaigns aren't, which ones are sucking dry the ad spend and which ones are converting like crazy that you should be spending more money on. So these things, let's do this. Let's say high priority. For me, these are high priority. Let's say then medium priority. And I'll flesh this out a little bit more because I think it needs it so that you guys can see the whole picture. And low priority. Man, if I could just type, right, I'd probably like 10x my life. My spelling, my grammar sucks. All right, so medium priority, low priority. So for me, desktop search would be kind of the lowest priority. It's just going to be the least converting, mechanism. And mobile gets so much traffic and so much demand, like we've talked about. And it doesn't mean that like I don't want to do it and I'm not excited for it. By all means, that's a really big channel. There's just other things that I want to do first. So I mean, for me, high priority, let's just say like remarketing ads to current customers, remarketing ads to prospects. In here as well, like for me in terms of like high priority is like we got to build out a GMB so that it comes up for branded searches. Like that's freaking high priority, right? And we got to protect our brand, protect the business's brand with reviews and the first page of Google. And what I mean by that is when you search for the brand on the first page of Google, you should see the GMB pop. There should be a good amount of reviews there. It should be 4.5 stars plus on that Google My Business account, right? Then you should see Yelp. You should see Yellow Pages. You should see Manta. You should see Better Business or the BBB. All 4 or all 5 of those sites that I just listed as well all show the Google review snippet inside of the search. So they're all going to show those stars, right? You do some videos talking about the reputation with Rep Videos or one of the other platforms out there, right? And you can control the whole first page and people's perception of your brand. Like those are all high priority. Like those things are going to get you guys huge returns. So this is like all for me, high priority, easy to implement things. Next up, again, I would have to say then would be, so let's say mobile search campaign. We're kind of talking about some of the same things we did on that other slide in the other video at the start of the AMA. So medium priority mobile search campaigns, and really what you guys asked about was SEO. So we got to fit in with SEO. So I think SEO can either be, right, can be medium priority or could be low priority. At the end of the day, I think it has to do with what the business owner wants, right? Are they willing to invest now to in the future have a marketing campaign that potentially has a much, much lower marketing cost, right? Or do they want results now and we'll work on their margin and we'll work on, you know, turning over that same customer 4 or 5 times, right? Building out an average customer value now. That's the conversation that you have to have with a local business owner, I believe, right? Some of them are going to want to do SEO or will make the budget from the beginning. Some of them won't, okay? And it also depends on where you advise them to stick their money. Okay, I think that these things are kind of interchangeable. Like I would definitely do a mobile search, but in terms of where does SEO go, like if we can make their PPC profitable, we're gonna build them a super fast growing business, and then we stack SEO on it and we can really start to get things uber profitable. So I hope that helps. Yeah, protect the brand, build the brand, right? And then stack sales on top of it, right? Light the fire underneath it. All right, so next up, let's talk about Invisible PPC and what's in it for each and every one of you guys on this phone call, right? Digital triggers customers. So at the end of the day, we just ran 6 or 7 questions on the AMA on this very AMA session. If you're watching the recording, go watch the replays and you can see the rest of these. But quite a few times, we've been talking about Google ads. We've been talking about Facebook ads. We've been talking about remarketing. We've been talking about paid ads, right? So for me, guys, at the end of the day, me as an agency and me as a trainer, right, and a consultant in this space for each and every one of you guys that follows me, okay, my whole thing is about driving revenue and driving sales, right? In my agency, that's what it's about. When I'm talking with a prospect, this is the conversation that I'm having with them, right? What's the mechanism that's going to do that then, right, is ultimately the question. But what they care about and the conversations that we have are all about this, right? And when I talk with you guys, right, what you guys care about and what you guys want to talk with your prospects about is all about driving revenue and driving sales and driving value for them, right? When I talk to you guys about, you know, what do you guys find important in a product to sell, right, to local businesses? You're like, I want to be able to read, you know, I want to be able to lead with results. I want to be able to lead with case studies. I want to be able to make them money, right? I want them to know how amazing what I am is doing for them, and that they can say, I spent this much and you brought me in this much. Those are the types of conversations that we have, right? That's the exact reason why I partnered with InvisiblePPC. Because at the end of the day, how are we going to do that? Right? Like I've talked about, all of my background is Google search, right? It's Google ads, right? It's Google's display network, it's YouTube ads, it's SEO organic, it's Google paid, right? Whether it used to be Google AdWords and now it's Google ads, right? Like that is the core of my competency. And that's what I've also crushed it with, selling to local businesses and also helping local businesses with that medium. So at the end of the day, right, if I want to help you guys grow, okay, I need to find you guys this resource. And so I went and I found you guys this resource, right? InvisiblePPC. And over the last couple of months, for people that have asked, hey, do you have a company that you guys would suggest, right? Run my Google ads, right? When you guys started asking that question at the end of last year and even before that, right? We'd point you guys to InvisiblePPC. I've been in a mastermind with Rob Warner of InvisiblePPC for quite some time now, right? And every single time we have a conversation, it's amazing, right? And in the back of both of our heads, we're thinking, man, we got to do more business. Man, we got to do more business. Man, we got to do more business. Okay, and as conversation happened over time, right, and things progressed into where they are today, right? I essentially now, you could say that I'm the CMO. I'm CMO and a partner and owner at Invisible. So for Rob, it's kind of like the inverse, right? I'm the marketing guy. I'm the one boots on the ground. I'm the one selling this stuff. I'm the one teaching others how to successfully, agencies, how to successfully sell this. Rob and his existing team at InvisiblePPC, they're great at doing the fulfillment, right? They crush it at doing the fulfillment. What they're not so good at is they're a white label PPC company, right? They don't have the direct to customer sales experience like I do, right? So we got kind of a yin yang scenario going on. Does that make sense? They're good at fulfillment, right? And doing the daily work in there every day, doing all the techie stuff, right? And at the end of the day, I'm good enough to understand that, okay? But where my real strength lies is the sales mechanism there, okay? And so it's really a match made in heaven, right? At InvisiblePPC, now with me taking over as CMO and as a partner here at InvisiblePPC, I can focus on the marketing and sales initiatives to drive your guys' agencies forward and give you guys the tested, battle-proven, right, sequences and campaigns for you guys to go get customers, but also to onboard it and manage these customers as well, right? I single-handedly have brought in whales, right, from PPC. Okay, sold them PPC. I had one customer in my last agency. Shit, by the time I probably exited, I mean, they had to be spending over 200 grand a month in Google ads, right? One sale that I sold, spending over 200,000 a month in Google ads. Just so you guys understand kind of a numbers breakdown there, my fee was somewhere between 15 and 20% of spend. Right, so I was making, what's that math? Between $30,000 and $40,000 a month we were bringing in from one customer that I landed. Okay, like that's where my strength is. Okay, can I build a team, right, to run Google ads? Yes. Am I gonna get bored after 30 days of me managing that team? Yes, right? So the match that we have at InvisiblePPC is absolutely fantastic. Does that make sense to everybody? Can I get a 0 in the chat? Right, I get to focus on what I'm good at, and Rob and the rest of their team gets to focus on what they're good at, right? And it's just kind of a bolt-in scenario, okay? It's a win-win all around. And I know that we had somebody that asked this question at the beginning of the call. I forget who it was. Let me scroll through the attendees. Does this answer your question, kind of where this came from? I think it was Matthew. Was it you, Matthew Fran? Matthew Fran, yeah, I believe it was you, right, brother? Does that make sense? Awesome, man, good stuff. So at the end of the day, again, I want to be able to lead with value with all of my products that I sell directly to the local market, right? For every business that I go after, I want to be able to lead with value, and I need to be able to bring results and show results. And guys, the power that we have as a community at Digital Triggers and everybody else leveraging our fulfillment partner in InvisiblePPC is insane, okay? It's insanity. Okay, so get this, right? You have the ability when you've partnered with InvisiblePPC to say, my fulfillment team manages $2 million a month in ad spend. My fulfillment team also generates over 7,000 monthly inbound calls. Talk about standing on the shoulders of some giants, right? You guys think that you could probably close some more deals if your fulfillment partner did those two things? You guys can say that. You guys can use that. That's the beautiful thing. Matthew Fran says, what about pricing? Dude, their pricing is so cheap, it's not even funny, right? Like, frankly, we're going to need to start increasing the prices. And that'll be good for everybody involved. But yes, dude, their pricing is like not even an option, not even an issue. Like, there's nobody in the market that can even touch them in terms of pricing. So awesome. Matthew says, sweet. All right, so guys, that is it. Thank you guys so much for joining me on what I think is probably like the 8th month now that we've been running these AMA sessions. They're awesome. It's built right in, baked right into my Wednesdays. These are calls that I look forward to being on with you guys. A little call to action though here, guys. I need you guys to ask questions, right, for me to answer on these AMAs. I'm starting to dry up the bottom of the questions, all right? So in order to ask me a question, it's super simple. Go to digitaltriggers.io/AMA, just register for the webinar, and then on the thank you page, right, you'll be able to ask a question. So step number 2 is ask a question, and they'll give you a link right there to go ask a question. And by all means, guys, bookmark that. When you run into an objection with a prospect, right, go back there, right? When you don't know how to answer it, when a prospect asks you something in terms of sales or fulfillment or a deliverable, right, or you guys just want feedback on a campaign, guys, that's why I'm here, right? Don't be afraid to go fill out that form. I'm here for you guys, and this is how I do it, right? This is my leveraged way to kind of give back to the community, right? This is the way once a week that I can over deliver for each and every one of you guys. So please, like, do me a favor, be selfish, like ask a bunch of freaking questions, because that gives me the opportunity to over deliver for you and everybody else inside of the community, right? So have a freaking fantastic week, everybody. Please do me a favor, be fucking selfish. Go ask me a question so we got a bunch of good shit for next week, all right? Everybody have a freaking fantastic rest of your week, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Joe Troyer signing out.